Captain Ryan Hayes stepped off the shuttle and onto the polished marble floors of Starhold Palace. The vast hall stretched endlessly, filled with soft, glowing lights that reflected off crystal pillars. The air smelled faintly of exotic flowers from the palace gardens, and the soft hum of the security drones blended with the voices of palace staff. For the first time in weeks, Ryan felt the weight of peace, but he knew it was fragile. He had just returned from the edge of the void expanse, where he had risked everything to save the royal bloodline of the Vexari, the alien species that ruled this part of the galaxy. The mission had been dangerous, and Ryan had faced enemies he could never have imagined. Entire fleets had been destroyed, and he had watched brave soldiers fall beside him, yet, against impossible odds, he had succeeded. The young royal heirs were alive. The future of the Vexari was secure, for now. A group of palace attendants approached him, bowing deeply. "Welcome back, Captain Hayes," said one. "The Queen wishes to see you immediately." Ryan followed them through hallways lined with tapestries depicting centuries of Vexari history. The walls shimmered with moving images, telling stories of great warriors and explorers who had shaped their people. Though Ryan was human, he could not help but feel awe at the grandeur. For a moment, he allowed himself to feel proud that his actions had earned him entry into this world of honor and power. At last, he entered the grand audience chamber. The Queen sat on a throne carved from a single massive crystal. Her presence was commanding yet graceful. Aurelia Vexa, the ruler of the Vexari, looked at him with eyes that seemed to pierce straight to his soul. She did not rise, yet Ryan felt the weight of her gaze like a physical force. "You returned safely," she said, her voice calm but firm. "That is more than I could have hoped for." Ryan bowed. "It was my duty, Your Majesty. I only did what anyone should have done." A small, almost imperceptible smile appeared on her face. "Perhaps, Captain Hayes, yet not everyone could have faced the dangers you did. You have earned the respect of my people, and you have earned something more. You are part of our world now." Ryan hesitated. "Part of your world, Your Majesty?" "Yes," she replied. "You saved the royal bloodline. From this day you are ours, not as a servant or a soldier, but as someone who carries our trust." The words startled him. Humans rarely received such honors, especially from an alien species with customs and rules he could barely understand. He had fought for survival, not recognition, yet the sincerity in her eyes made him pause. Perhaps there was more to this than duty. Perhaps there was destiny. Before he could respond, a young voice interrupted the moment. "Captain Hayes!" Ryan turned to see Princess Leora, the youngest of the royal heirs, running toward him. Her eyes were bright with relief and curiosity. She was small, but there was a strength in her movements that reminded Ryan of herself as a soldier, determined, fearless, and aware of the world's dangers even at a young age. "You came back!" she exclaimed, stopping just a few feet away. "I was so worried you wouldn't make it. Everyone says you are a hero." Ryan smiled faintly. "I did what I had to do, Princess. The important thing is that you and your family are safe." Leora tilted her head, studying him. "You didn't just save my family, you saved all of us. I don't think anyone will ever forget that." Ryan felt a mix of pride and unease. Recognition was one thing, responsibility was another. Being a hero in the eyes of the Vexari meant more than personal achievement. It meant becoming a symbol, a figure that others would look to for guidance and protection. That was a heavy burden, and he had already faced enough of those in the void of space. Queen Aurelia's voice cut through his thoughts again. "Ryan Hayes, you must understand the world you have returned to. The palace is no longer a place of quiet safety. You have changed the future by saving the heirs. There are those who will seek to undermine you and us." Some of them will hide their intentions behind loyalty and tradition. Ryan nodded. I understand, Your Majesty. I will be careful. The Queen studied him for a moment longer, then gestured toward the window. Outside, the palace gardens stretched like a living painting, with glowing flowers and trees taller than most humans had ever seen. Small, flying creatures zipped through the air, leaving trails of light behind them. See those gardens? She said softly. Even beauty can hide danger. The same is true within these walls. Trust is earned even here. Ryan followed her gaze. I have learned that well, he said. Suddenly, the hall trembled. A soft vibration like distant thunder ran through the floor. Servants paused, and the Queen's eyes narrowed. Ryan instinctively reached for his sidearm, though he did not know if it would help inside the palace. It begins again, the Queen said, her voice quiet but full of warning. The enemies who hunted my family, they have returned. You may have saved us once, but they do not forget. Ryan's jaw tightened. Then we stopped them. Again. Princess Leora looked up at him, concern in her eyes. You're not afraid? Ryan shook his head. Fear doesn't help. Action does. The Queen's expression softened slightly, though her eyes remained serious. You are brave, human. That is why you are ours. Your courage is now bound to the fate of the Vexari, not as a weapon, but as a protector. You will need allies, Captain Hayes. There are those here who will stand by your side, and those who will test you. Ryan felt a sense of foreboding. Returning to the palace was not just a homecoming. It was the beginning of a new kind of mission, a mission where loyalty, trust, and courage would be tested in ways he had never imagined. Take her to the gardens, the Queen said suddenly, pointing to Leora. She will need guidance, and so will you. Learn what you can of this place. You may have won the battle, but the war for the heart of the palace is only beginning. As Ryan led Princess Leora through the halls toward the gardens, he noticed the subtle changes in the staff around him. Whispers, glances, quick movements, everything spoke of hidden concerns. Perhaps some did not trust him. Perhaps some feared the presence of a human so close to the royal family. Yet as they stepped into the palace gardens, the tension lifted slightly. The gardens were alive with colors and scents beyond anything Ryan had seen before. Bioluminescent plants glowed softly, while small waterfalls reflected the alien sun. Birds with crystal feathers sang harmonies that seemed almost like music. Princess Leora reached out to touch a glowing flower. It's beautiful, she said softly. Ryan watched her, and for a moment, he allowed himself to feel hope. Perhaps this was a world worth protecting, not only because of duty, but because of the life and beauty it contained. Your Highness, he said gently, I will do everything I can to keep this world safe. You have my word. Leora looked up at him and smiled. I know you will, Captain. I trust you. Ryan felt a rare warmth in his chest. Trust. It was something humans fought to earn every day, and here, on an alien world, he had earned it. But as he glanced back at the palace, Ryan knew the real test was just beginning. Shadows moved where light should have been. Secrets hid behind every corridor. And the enemies who had tried to destroy this world once before were not finished. The palace doors loomed behind them, tall and imposing. Ryan tightened his grip on his sidearm, not out of fear, but out of readiness. Whatever came next, he would face it, not as a soldier for hire, not as an outsider, but as a protector of the Vexari, a guardian of the royal bloodline, and a man who had been claimed by destiny itself. And as the sun set over the glowing gardens, Ryan Hayes felt, for the first time, that he belonged to something greater than himself. The peaceful night over Starhold Palace did not last long. Captain Ryan Hayes woke before dawn, feeling a tension in the air he could not ignore. The palace gardens glimmered faintly under the twin moons, but Ryan's instincts told him that beauty often hid danger. Even after weeks of battle in the void expanse, his senses remained sharp. He had learned to see the small details, the shadow behind a pillar, a faint ripple in the air, the way a servant's hand trembled as they carried a tray. Something was not right. Ryan decided to start with the palace perimeter. The security drones hummed softly as they scanned the grounds, their sensors sweeping every tree and corridor. The aliens' technology was advanced, yet even they relied on human intuition for unpredictable threats. Ryan moved silently among the glowing plants, checking patrol routes and scanning for unusual energy readings. It wasn't long before the signs appeared. On a communication monitor, Ryan noticed faint signals coming from outside the palace borders. Small, fast-moving ships approaching the planet undetected. Not enough to declare an invasion, but enough to signal a threat. His pulse quickened. The faction that had tried to destroy the royal bloodline before was not gone. They had regrouped, and they were watching. He moved quickly to the Queen's chambers. Aurelia Vexa was already awake, sitting at a crystal desk, her expression calm but focused. She had learned to mask her emotions in public, but Ryan had seen the way her eyes betrayed worry. "Your Majesty," Ryan said, bowing slightly. "I detected unusual signals near the planet. They are small ships, approaching stealthily. Someone is testing our defenses." The Queen nodded slowly. "I feared this. The ones who sought to harm my family will not rest. You saved the bloodline once, Captain Hayes, but others remain hidden. Some may even walk these halls pretending to be loyal." Ryan clenched his fists. "Then we find them, and we stop them." Aurelia's gaze softened for a moment. "I wish it were that simple. Loyalty here is not only a matter of action, it is tradition, history, and power. Some will resist your presence. They see a human in our palace as a threat, not as an ally." Ryan's jaw tightened. "I've faced worse." The Queen allowed a small, rare smile. "Perhaps, but your challenge here is different. You must fight both in the open and in the shadows, and yet—" She paused, her voice gentle. "I trust you. That is why you are ours." Before Ryan could reply, a soft voice interrupted. Princess Leora appeared at the doorway, still dressed in her mourning robes. "Captain Hayes," she said quietly, "I saw some of the palace staff whispering. I think not everyone is happy with you here." Ryan studied her young face. Despite her age, she already carried the wisdom of someone who had seen fear, war, and loss. "Leora, I appreciate your honesty. We must watch carefully, but not let fear control us. Do you trust me?" She nodded firmly. "I do, more than anyone else." That moment of trust strengthened Ryan's resolve. The enemy may be hidden, and palace politics may be dangerous, but he could not fail, not while innocent lives were at stake. The morning sun rose, casting long shadows over the palace. Ryan began a careful inspection, moving through halls, corridors, and offices. He watched how the servants acted, noting every nervous glance, every skipped heartbeat when he passed. Something was stirring in the palace, but the source remained elusive. Hours later, an explosion shook the palace gardens. Ryan rushed outside, finding a small pavilion in flames. Fortunately, no one was hurt, but the destruction sent a clear message. Someone inside the palace was willing to attack. He quickly called security teams to secure the area while examining the remnants. Energy traces suggested a small explosive, advanced but primitive enough to be human or Vexari-made. Someone wanted fear to spread among the royal family. Ryan's mind raced. Who could have done this? A hidden faction among the council? A traitor pretending to serve the palace? Or agents of the enemy still hiding in orbit? The answer was unknown, but the threat was real. Queen Aurelia arrived at the scene, her calm composure masking deep concern. She studied the damage, then looked at Ryan. "You see now, Captain Hayes, why I said you are ours. You must stay close, not only to protect us from enemies beyond the palace, but from those who dwell within. Trust will be tested." Ryan nodded. "Then we start with the council. I need to know who is loyal." The Queen agreed, summoning her council for a private meeting. The room was filled with dignitaries and advisors, each representing different aspects of the Vexari government. Some were wary of him, others barely concealed open disdain. Rian stepped forward. "I am not here to challenge tradition. I am here to ensure your safety. There are enemies outside and threats inside. Those who serve the palace honorably should work with me." A senior council member, Lord Vashon, rose slowly. His voice carried authority, though his eyes were cold. "And why should we trust a human? You are an outsider, unbound by our laws, our history. You may have saved the heirs, but loyalty is earned daily, not by a single act." Ryan held his gaze. "Then watch me earn it. I do not ask for blind trust. I ask for the chance to prove myself every day. My loyalty is not a gift. It is earned through action. And right now, my action is to protect all of you." Some council members murmured among themselves. Tension filled the room. Princess Leora, standing quietly by her mother, stepped forward. "Captain Hayes saved us. He risked his life when others could not. I trust him, and you should too." A murmur of agreement rippled through part of the council. Ryan knew he had allies, but the opposition remained. He needed more than words. He needed action. Later that day, intelligence reports confirmed the threat outside the palace. The unknown fleet was moving closer, probing planetary defenses. Sensors detected cloaked vessels attempting to bypass the orbital shields. The enemy was patient, calculating, and they were well prepared. Ryan realized the danger extended beyond palace walls. He and the Queen devised a plan to strengthen planetary defenses, train palace security, and prepare evacuation routes for the royal family if necessary. Princess Leora insisted on being involved, eager to learn strategy and tactics. Rian agreed, seeing her potential as a future leader. Days passed. Ryan continued his patrols and investigations, uncovering subtle plots within the palace. Servants and minor officials were bribed or coerced by the hidden faction, while some allies risked their lives to pass him information. Every small victory built trust among those loyal to the Queen. But each new discovery also revealed the depth of the palace's vulnerability. One evening, as the twin moons rose, a coded message arrived. It was from the enemy faction, sent through a secure channel. The message was simple. "You cannot protect them forever. We are patient. We are everywhere." Ryan's hands tightened around the message. The enemy was clever, ruthless, and determined. Yet he felt no fear, only resolve. He had seen death in the void. He had faced impossible odds, and he had won. Queen Aurelia entered the room quietly. "You see, Captain Hayes, the challenge is far from over, but you have strengthened our people's resolve. You have reminded them why loyalty matters. You have reminded them why courage matters." Ryan looked at her, feeling a mixture of respect and determination. "We stop them before they strike. I won't let fear control this palace or its people, not while I draw breath." The Queen smiled faintly, her eyes filled with quiet pride. "Then you truly are ours, Ryan Hayes. Not only as a protector, but as part of our future. This palace, our people, our bloodline, they are in your hands now, and you are ready." As the night deepened, Rian walked alone through the palace gardens. The bioluminescent flowers glowed softly under the moonlight, and the gentle streams reflected the stars above. It was beautiful, yet he felt the weight of responsibility. The threat outside was real. The hidden enemies inside were clever, and the safety of the royal bloodline rested on his shoulders. Yet for the first time, he also felt hope. He was not alone. Princess Leora trusted him. The queen had accepted him. Loyal council members stood by his side. Together, they could face whatever came next. Ryan clenched his fists and stared at the horizon, where distant ships shimmered in stealth mode. "Come at us," he whispered to the night. "We are ready." The palace was quiet, but it was far from safe. A storm was approaching, one that would test the loyalty, courage, and strength of everyone inside Starhold Palace. And Captain Ryan Hayes would be at the center of it, not only as a soldier, but as a symbol of hope, honor, and human courage in a galaxy that had never seen the like before. The tension in Starhold Palace had grown thick over the days since Ryan Hayes' return. The young princesses were safe, the palace defenses strengthened, yet the shadow of the hidden faction and the unknown fleet outside loomed over every corridor. Captain Rian walked through the grand halls, moving carefully, eyes scanning for subtle signs of unrest. Every whisper behind a closed door, every hurried gesture from a servant, reminded him that danger lurked in the most unexpected places. Princess Leora followed closely. "Captain Hayes," she said softly, "the council is divided. Some of them do not want you here. They question the Queen's decision. They think humans cannot be trusted in our world." Ryan stopped, studying her. "Then it is our job to prove them wrong. Words alone won't do it. Actions will." She nodded. "I want to help." Ryan looked at her, a sense of respect and admiration rising. "You are brave, Leora, but some of the challenges you will face are not just about courage. They are about wisdom, patience, and knowing when to act. Watch and learn." As they walked, the palace trembled faintly, a small, controlled shockwave. Alarms sounded in several corridors. Ryan's instincts kicked in. Something was happening, something inside the palace. He and Leora rushed to the council chamber, where Queen Aurelia and the remaining council members had gathered. The queen's expression was serious, almost stern. She motioned for Ryan to come closer. "Captain Hayes," she said quietly, "you must understand the choice I face. My council is split. Some see you as a hero, a protector. Others see you as an intruder, someone whose presence threatens centuries of tradition. I must decide. Do I follow my heart and trust you fully? Or do I heed the counsel of those who fear change?" Rian studied her. "Your Majesty, I do not seek to replace tradition. I only seek to protect it. The royal bloodline, the people, and this palace are under threat. If I am to help, I must stand with you, not apart." A council member, Lord Vashon, spoke sharply. "And if your trust is misplaced? If the human brings conflict within these walls? If he incites rebellion or failure?" Rian's gaze hardened. "Then I will accept responsibility. But I will not let fear dictate my actions. I fight with honor, and I fight for your people. That is my promise." The Queen's eyes softened as she looked at Rian. She had faced many battles in her life, wars for territory, for influence, for survival. But this was different. This was about trust, about choice, about the future of her family and her people. And in that moment, she saw not just a soldier, but a man capable of understanding loyalty and courage in ways few of her people could. Before the council could respond, a distant explosion shook the palace. The walls vibrated, and a section of the outer gardens erupted in flames. Security alerts blared, and guards ran toward the source. Ryan reacted instantly. "Stay here, Your Majesty. Leora, stay close to me." He sprinted toward the gardens, his mind racing. This was not a random act. It was a message from the hidden faction. They were inside, and they were bold. When they reached the gardens, chaos had already erupted. Palace security teams were trying to contain the fire, while a group of cloaked attackers moved quickly through the shadows. Ryan moved without hesitation, his training and instincts guiding him. He fired non-lethal energy rounds, disabling several attackers while protecting the guards and civilians nearby. The princess watched from behind a wall, her face pale but determined. Ryan glanced at her. "Stay behind me!" The attackers retreated when Ryan confronted them head-on. They were skilled, but not prepared for someone who knew both the palace layout and human combat tactics. With precise movements, he disarmed two and pushed the others back. By the time the queen arrived, the attackers had vanished. The gardens were damaged, but the royal family and palace staff were unharmed. The queen approached Ryan, her expression a mixture of relief and pride. "You acted with courage and wisdom," she said quietly. "Not only did you protect my family, but you showed the council the strength of your loyalty. Today your actions speak louder than any words." Ryan bowed slightly. "It is my duty, Your Majesty. I only did what I must." The queen turned to the council, her voice ringing with authority. "You see now why I chose him. Fear blinds those who cannot accept change. Trust those who act with honor. Captain Ryan Hayes is not an outsider. He is a protector, and he is ours." Some council members bowed their heads in acknowledgement. Others still hesitated, but the queen's words carried weight that none could ignore. Later, in a private chamber, the queen spoke with Ryan and Leora. "The hidden faction is bold. They are willing to strike inside the palace. We must act before they gain more power." Ryan nodded. "We will set traps, strengthen security, and train your loyal forces. But I need to know. They must be stopped before they can strike again." Princess Leora placed a hand on his arm. "Captain Hayes, the Queen made her choice, and I trust you. Help us protect our home, and we will succeed together." The Queen smiled, a rare, genuine smile. "From this day, Ryan Hayes, you are no longer just a hero. You are part of our family. You protect not only the bloodline, but the future of the Vexari people. That is a heavy responsibility. But I know you are ready." Ryan felt a weight settle on his shoulders, heavier than any armor he had ever worn, yet it was tempered by purpose. He was not alone. He had allies, and he had trust. The following days were a whirlwind of preparation. Ryan led exercises with palace guards, demonstrating strategies that combined human ingenuity and Vexari technology. He taught them how to anticipate attacks, how to defend against infiltration, and how to act decisively in chaos. Princess Leora trained alongside him, learning quickly, her determination inspiring even the most skeptical guards. Yet the hidden faction was cunning. Small acts of sabotage continued. Sensors were tampered with, supply lines disrupted, and whispers of dissent grew among the lower ranks. Ryan realized that patience, strategy, and vigilance were key. He worked day and night, mapping every corridor, checking every system, and ensuring no corner of the palace was left unguarded. One evening, as the twin moons rose over Starhold Palace, Ryan and the Queen stood on the balcony, overlooking the glowing gardens. "You have done more than I could have asked," she said softly. "But the real test is coming. The hidden faction will strike when we least expect it, and the fleet outside may not wait." Ryan looked out at the horizon, where the faint shimmer of enemy ships could be seen. "Then we face it head-on. I will protect this palace, Your Majesty, no matter the cost." The Queen placed a hand on his shoulder. "And I will stand with you. Together, we will defend the royal bloodline. Together, we will show that courage and loyalty are stronger than fear and deception." At that moment, a subtle vibration ran through the palace. Ryan's senses went on high alert. From the shadows, a figure emerged, a cloaked attacker, clearly attempting a surprise strike. Ryan reacted instantly, intercepting the intruder before any harm could reach the Queen or the princess. The intruder fell, disarmed, but alive. Ryan's eyes narrowed. "This is just the beginning," he said quietly. "They will test us again. But we are ready." Princess Leora stepped forward, her hand brushing Ryan's arm. "We are ready because of you. You taught us how to fight, how to trust, how to protect each other." The Queen nodded in agreement. "From this day, Ryan Hayes is not just a protector of the royal bloodline. He is a symbol of hope and courage for all of us. The palace, our people, and our future are in his hands, and he will not fail." Rian looked out over the palace gardens once more. The glowing flowers, the calm streams, and the serene night sky reminded him why he fought. This was not just a mission. This was home, for Leora, for the royal family, for the Vexari people, and now for him. And as the first faint light of dawn touched the palace, Ryan Hayes felt something he had not felt in a long time. Hope. The hidden faction would strike again. The fleet outside might come closer. But together he, the Queen, and the young princess would face whatever came. And the Starhold Palace would stand. A fortress of courage, loyalty, and the unbreakable bond between human and Vexari. Captain Ryan Hayes had found his purpose. He was no longer just a soldier. He was a protector, a guardian, and a symbol of hope in a galaxy that had never seen the courage of a human like him. The twin suns of Vexari Prime rose over Starhold Palace, casting golden light across its shimmering towers. The calm of morning was deceptive. Captain Ryan Hayes stood on the balcony, scanning the horizon. The enemy fleet that had loomed for weeks was finally visible, glinting in the sunlight like a swarm of metallic predators. Cloaked vessels emerged from stealth mode, moving toward the planet with precision. Ryan's jaw tightened. This was it, the test he had been preparing for, the moment where all training, strategy, and courage would be tested. He turned to the Queen and Princess Leora, both standing behind him. Aurelia Vexa's gaze was calm, yet firm, a silent strength that inspired everyone nearby. "Captain Hayes," she said quietly, "the fate of our people rests on your shoulders. Lead them well. Protect my family, the palace, and all who live here. Show them the strength of humans and the bond we share." Ryan nodded. "We will hold them off, Your Majesty." "I promise." The palace alarms blared as the enemy ships fired energy beams toward the outer walls. Defensive shields flared, pushing back the destructive blasts. Ryan quickly assessed the battlefield from the balcony, mapping enemy positions and weaknesses. He gave rapid orders to the palace defense commanders, mixing human strategy with Vexari technology. "Divert energy to the north shield," he shouted. "The southern wall will hold for now, but focus on those ships approaching from orbit." Guards and engineers rushed to follow his instructions. Ryan moved down to the main command floor, where holographic displays showed real-time enemy movements. Princess Leora followed, her eyes wide with concern, yet filled with determination. "This is what you've trained for," Ryan told her. "Watch, learn, and be ready. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is action in the face of it." Explosions shook the palace as the enemy launched a coordinated attack. Cloaked operatives tried to infiltrate the outer perimeter while the fleet bombarded the walls. Ryan led the response personally, moving swiftly through corridors, coordinating defense teams, and intercepting intruders. Every move was calculated, precise, and effective. One group of attackers attempted to breach the palace gates. Ryan intercepted them with a combination of energy weapons and tactical maneuvers. The cloaked intruders were skilled, but they were no match for a man who had faced countless battles in the void expanse. He disarmed 2 attackers and forced the rest to retreat. The Queen, observing from above, knew this was a turning point. Ryan was proving not only his courage, but his ability to inspire loyalty and action in others. Meanwhile, Princess Leora organized a group of young cadets, teaching them quick defensive techniques. Her calm authority in the chaos surprised even seasoned guards. "Stay together. Protect the civilians. Don't let fear control you," she commanded. Ryan watched her with pride. The young princess had grown rapidly under his guidance. In the midst of battle, she had become a leader. Outside, the enemy fleet continued its assault. Ryan and the palace defense teams coordinated counterattacks, using energy turrets, shields, and rapid maneuvers to neutralize incoming ships. The sky was filled with flashes of light as shields clashed with enemy fire, sending waves of energy rippling across the battlefield. Ryan noticed a group of enemy ships attempting to flank the palace. "Northern defenses are under threat," he shouted. "Take the fleet to intercept! Move now!" The Vexari pilots responded instantly, executing maneuvers Ryan had suggested. Human strategy combined with Vexari technology created an unexpected advantage. One by one, the enemy ships were disabled or forced to retreat. As the main assault slowed, Ryan turned his attention to the palace interior. A small group of enemy infiltrators had managed to bypass security and were heading toward the royal chambers. He moved swiftly, intercepting them before they could reach the Queen or Princess Leora. A fierce battle broke out in the palace halls. Ryan moved with precision, taking down one attacker after another. The Queen and Princess Leora observed from a secure room, their trust in him unshakable. "Your Majesty," Ryan said calmly after subduing the last intruder, "the palace is secure for now. The main fleet has been weakened. We have a chance to push back." The Queen nodded. "Then let us end this threat, once and for all." Together, Ryan and the palace forces launched a coordinated counterattack. Using combined strategies, they neutralized the remaining enemy ships and captured operatives. The hidden faction inside the palace was exposed, and loyal forces secured every corridor and chamber. As the battle ended, a hush fell over the palace. Guards and citizens alike cheered, but the Queen called for silence. She stepped forward and addressed everyone. "Today," she began, her voice echoing through the grand audience chamber, "our home, our family, and our people have been protected not by fear or tradition alone, but by courage, loyalty, and unity. Captain Rian Hayes has proven himself beyond measure. He has fought not only for the royal bloodline, but for every citizen of this world." She turned to Ryan, her eyes filled with respect and gratitude. "From this day forward, you are not just a protector. You are a symbol of hope, strength, and unity. You are officially recognized as the guardian of the royal bloodline, a position no human has ever held in Vexari history." Rian bowed, humbled. "I only did what was necessary, Your Majesty. The real victory belongs to all who stood together today." Princess Leora stepped forward, holding out her hand. "Captain Hayes, you saved us. You taught us to be brave, to trust, and to fight with honor. We are grateful beyond words. You are one of us now." Ryan took her hand gently, acknowledging the bond they had formed. "And I am proud to be part of your world. I will stand with you, always." The Queen's council, once divided, now looked on in awe. Even the skeptics who had questioned his presence now bowed in recognition of his courage and loyalty. Ryan had not only defended the palace, but had united a divided people. In the days that followed, the palace and its defenses were rebuilt. Ryan worked with engineers, soldiers, and advisors to strengthen Starhold Palace against any future threats. Princess Leora continued her training, showing remarkable progress and determination. The Queen oversaw every plan, guiding them with wisdom and patience. Ryan found a new rhythm in his life. He was no longer just a soldier from another world. He was a protector, a mentor, and a trusted figure in the royal court. The people respected him, the Queen valued him, and the young princess looked to him for guidance. One evening, as the twin moons rose, Rian stood on the palace balcony, overlooking the gardens. The air was calm, and the soft glow of bioluminescent flowers lit the paths below. Princess Leora joined him, her expression thoughtful. "Captain Hayes," she said softly, "do you ever think about how different your life was before this? Back in your world?" Ryan smiled faintly. "I do. I think about the stars I've traveled, the battles I've fought, and the people I've known. But I also think about this place, about the friends I've made, the trust I've earned, and the family I've found here. This world has changed me as much as I've changed it." Leora nodded. "I'm glad you're here, not just because you protect us, but because you inspire us. You showed us what courage really is." Ryan looked out at the palace, feeling a sense of fulfillment he had never known. "Then I have done my duty, and I will continue to do so, as long as I am able." The Queen approached quietly, placing a hand on his shoulder. "You have done more than protect my family, Ryan Hayes. You have proven that courage, loyalty, and honor are universal. You have shown our people and the galaxy that humans can be heroes in ways we never imagined." Ryan bowed slightly. "I am honored, Your Majesty, but the real honor is serving a people who believe in courage and unity as much as I do." The Queen smiled, her eyes shining with pride. "From this day forward, Starhold Palace and the royal bloodline are safe. Because of you, Ryan Hayes, we are stronger. And because of you, the bond between our worlds has never been closer." As the night settled over Starhold Palace, Ryan Hayes knew his journey was far from over. There would be new threats, new challenges, and new adventures. But he was ready, not as an outsider, not as a soldier alone, but as a guardian, a hero, and a part of two worlds now forever united. And in the quiet glow of the palace gardens, the Queen spoke softly, almost to herself. "He is ours." Ryan smiled faintly, feeling the weight of those words, not as a command, but as an acknowledgement of belonging, trust, and destiny. The stars above seemed brighter that night, as if recognizing a human who had fought, bled, and stood proudly among the alien people he had come to call family. He had saved the royal bloodline. He had earned trust, respect, and honor. And now he was home.